Post-production has officially begun on the new Tom Cruise movie, Mena, being directed by his Edge of Tomorrow director, Doug Liman. Mena follows an international escapade based on the outrageous and real exploits of Barry Seal, a hustler and pilot unexpectedly recruited by the CIA to run one of the biggest covert operations in U.S. history. Christian, how do you like the sounds of Mena?
Maverick running some covert operations. I love it. I love this story. I love the idea. And I think that Cruise reteamed with Doug Liman. You all know how I felt about Edge of Tomorrow. It was a surprise, and a surprise that I could watch over and over and over again. I guess that's part of what the movie's all about anyway. But it's these two teaming up, and to see Cruise play a little more edgy. Again, he's great at that. He's great at the sarcastic, fun character, but going on a mission. It's almost like Maverick meets Ethan Hunt, kind of, when you hear him teaming up with Lyman to do this story. So it sounds pretty great.
Mark?
When you look at pictures of Barry Seal, as I was glancing at before we went to air, he's not the best-looking dude in the world. He's certainly no Tom Cruise, so I wonder what Tom Cruise's physical stature is going to be. I wonder if there's going to be prosthetic makeup to play this guy. The story itself is fascinating. I mean, this guy was a drug runner for the Medellin cartel, and then once the feds get a hold of him, it's like, hey, you can do some favors for us. So he was really one of the guys that exposed Pablo Escobar and his empire to America. So there's a blow element to all of this that I think is going to be fascinating. And yeah, the Top Gun angle is clearly, it's like you get to see Tom Cruise in an airplane, but it's not going to be that Tom Cruise at all. So it's an intriguing premise and a step outside of his comfort zone, which we've seen Tom Cruise do in the past and knock out of the park. He might be gunning for an Oscar with this.
Well, I don't think they're going to be ugling up Tom Cruise anytime soon for this role. I mean, there's plenty of movies based on real characters where you see them and like later you see who they cast. You're like, well, they don't really look exactly like that. They're like, for example, I just watched Woman in Gold. If you see Ryan Reynolds plays a real character, a real person, and you look at the real footage of the guy, you're like, no.
But they schlubbed up Ryan Reynolds for that role. They threw some glasses on him, gave him a worse haircut. You know, I mean,
so they Clark Kennedy'd it.
Yeah. They Clark Kennedy, but I brought up Blow. George Young was also not the most attractive dude. And they got Johnny Depp to play him, so I totally get your point.
I like this. It's one of those cases where a movie, Edge of Tomorrow, was really good, but it just didn't do very well. But the director wasn't blamed for it because Tom Cruise still wants to work with them. The studios still want him. They recognize that it was a good movie.
Right.
When in most cases, if you have like something that's a box office bomb, they try to get rid of you right away.
But it wasn't a bomb, though.
It wasn't a bomb, but it definitely wasn't what they were expecting.
Yeah, but it was also, I think what it was is because what people who did see it weren't just saying, "Oh, that was okay." People were raving about it. And the online word was people loved this movie.
Oh yeah, critics loved it and fans loved it, but box office wise, it just didn't do very well. And a lot of it had to do, I think, with the marketing and also kind of the Oblivion thing. People were like, definitely. "Oh, we just saw him in a."
It just looked too similar.
Even though it wasn't, it looked.
When you saw the trailer, when you see the trailer for this movie, I think it's going to be such a departure for Tom Cruise. Plus, you have the added element of, is there any doubt that he's actually going to be flying one of these planes? I think Tom Cruise might be smoggling drugs just to get ready for the role right now.
It was just real quick, just to say, domestically it made $100 million, but overall it made almost $400 million. So
nice.
Still not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Doug Liman ever since he started directing with Swingers. And then he did Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He did the Firstborn movie. People forget that because
Greengrass.
Greengrass did the next two. But yeah, I like this.